The front page of every newspaper in the nation is looking ahead to a President Trump. His surprise victory defied pre-election polling. With us now, our New York Times columnist Maureen Dowd and CBS News contributor Bob Schieffer. Good morning to both of you. There's a lot to sink our teeth into this. Bob, we were all sitting there last night. This is a massive Clinton failure as well. They were predicting a victory.
This is a failure on all fronts. People were mad. I said going into this, the word to describe the electorate was anxious. There was great anxiety. It was not anxiety, it was anger. It was anger. They wanted to throw the bones out, and they did.
You've been very vocal about your brother Kevin and his allegiance to Trump. What are you and Kevin saying today about what happened last night, Maureen?
Well, of course, I was at the New York Times all night, and I called Kevin starting at midnight through 3 to kind of try and figure out what happened. And he said, of course, a lot of people didn't really tell pollsters who they were going to vote for. And that basically what we already know, that people are completely fed up with politicians in Washington enriching themselves and not paying attention to the working class, and they're angry.
Well, Donald Trump... Go ahead.
Well, you've suggested that Trump has always been, during the campaign, playing a character. And the question now is, what character will inhabit the White House?
Yeah, it was interesting to watch him last night because all along, you know, I've compared him to a bank robber who walks into a bank expecting to run into a lot of guards and locked doors and finds himself walking in freely and getting the money. That was true
with the vault open
in the Republican primary, and it was true last night. And no one is more stunned than Donald Trump. And, you know, Harry Truman used to say that you can never tell how a man will accept the responsibility of the presidency until he has it. Right. So hopefully Trump will rise to the occasion.
We said that last night.
We are talking about profound policy changes that are coming. You have a Republican-controlled Congress, so we can talk about Obamacare, immigration, trade, and the Supreme Court. We're going to have massive change.
And the Iran-Contra deal.
This is going to be a Republican Party led by Donald Trump is going to be a different Republican Party than your brother grew up with, even, or we all came to know.
So what do you think the
alt-right... This is totally different, and we don't know yet how different it's going to be.
So what do you think the alt-right influence on him will be?
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, you can ask me about 20 questions today, and about 18 of them, my answer's going to be, I'm going to be honest, I don't know.
You know, I have one, Bob, because you said last night that this was a vote against Washington. What does this say about America today as we get up in the light of day? What does it say?
Well, it thinks that the government, a lot of people out there think the government has failed them. I mean, they see these people come to Washington, Washington sits there, nothing happens. You know, repairing roads and bridges and potholes has become a partisan issue. They can't get anything done.
Barack Obama was propelled into the White House by a good campaign and also the historic nature of his candidacy and a new coalition. Hillary Clinton tried to also capture that historic nature, being the first woman president. And yet she didn't turn out women in massive numbers. And I was struck by something that Michelle Norris of NPR said on our air last night. She said this isn't about a cracked ceiling. It's about the cracked window in a woman's car in the rural Midwest. Is that a way to really change the way we think about this?
Yeah, that's really interesting. Well, Hillary, one of the most amazing things that happened is that Hillary did not get a lot of excitement, especially among young women, for her historic candidacy. And basically, most voters saw her as an incrementalist in a year of revolution.
Did people not like her? Does it come down to that? They didn't like her?
Yeah, back to Obama's "you're likable enough, Hillary." Yeah. You know, but her problem is she could never really get out. Everyone says she's very warm in private and has a great sense of humor, but she could never get that out for the last quarter of the century.
So what happens to the Clintons?
Well, I think the Clinton machine, which we thought Obama had disabled in 2008, is now finally disabled.
But this country is still very divided. I mean, here she has won the popular vote. This is the second time now, in less than 20 years that One person has won the popular
He
vote,
says
the
he's
other
going
has
to
won
unify
the electoral vote.
Donald Trump, it was a different Donald Trump. He says he wants to unify the country. We will see. Thank you both. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.